Okay, guys, Thursday's wrap up. A lot of big profits possible today in the chat room. I'm going to go over the calls and why I made them, show you the setups here, in no particular order for that matter. Abercrombie and Fitch ANF was very strong yesterday and breaking out of a base, and so I just checked on it today and I happened to notice, hey, it looked like this. Sold off a little bit, but then came back up. Here's yesterday's high. These are 5-minute candles. So yesterday's high, 36.50. Nice tight base at the high of the day here. My thinking was, and I don't like high of day breaks, but this is a scenario where I didn't mind it. As a high of day break would be a break at this base, stop below this base, should get us to and through yesterday's high, or could, I should say. Anyway, so the idea was along at 36.24. Simply put, over the high of the day here. Worst case stop 35.99, but that's a little deceptive because there's the trigger, and you can see right after we took it, I mean, we're up 20 cents in a couple minutes, and it never even came back close to our entry. And then it busted right through yesterday's high as well. And I'm always a seller into a big spike like this, and we got a little bit more out of the rest of the shares. But not bad. Abercrombie and Fitch, 73-cent move in our favor. Again, I hate to say 25 cents risk because this was one of those great trades where it worked immediately. TPX, another example of when it's okay to call a high of day break. Okay, normally I don't like high of day breaks, especially when TPX had to come from here all the way up to here to break the high of day. Okay, in the very short term, I can't talk. In the very short term, this is overbought, right? By the time it gets up here. However, well, first, there's your early high of day. So when it gets up here, this normally would not be a high of day break entry for me because I would have said, hey, this has just come 60 or 70 cents to get there. Here's why I changed my mind on that, or why I deviated from that rule. Nice volume coming in. Couple that with the daily chart, and this is the most important part here. Now remember, the high of day break is going to be 26.71. All right, let's go to the daily. Remember this huge gap down? The high ever since the gap down of all the trading up until today was 26.88. Okay, so now remember 26.71 is going to be a high of day break. There's a strong chance if we break the high of the day, we're going to get to that 26.88 and push up into that gap, and that's exactly what happened. There's the trigger, and I mean within 5 or 10 minutes we're up very, very nicely. 80 cents or something like that, right? And it actually held the stop all day and went even a little higher. So TPX was one of those rare occasions where something running, I didn't mind the high of day break because of the longer term chart. What were some other ideas today? EDU, I said in the video last night that I wasn't even going to be allowing EDU talk in the chat room today. However, and I'd said this yesterday, apparently a Muddy Waters report on this thing was just killing it. Well, they came out this morning and refuted, I don't know if they refuted all or some of that report. So this made it a little bit interesting. It's still a little bit of a crazy stock though, but if you switch to 2-minute, this just got so decimated yesterday, and then they came out refuting that report, which is why I cautioned anyone who was shorting this for an overnight yesterday. I said, hey, somebody might come out, the company themselves or somebody else might come out and refute the Muddy Waters report, and then you're stuck in a short. And I was dead on about that. I wouldn't have held this overnight long or short, though, because I'm not crazy. Having said that, I pointed out this flag to the members. I said, hey, for you brave souls, this is a pretty good setup on a stock that might have some shorts caught from yesterday. You got this little flag here. So I mentioned the flag, which just basically means a high of day break over this candle. 11.16, and your stop would go below this candle at 10.94. So what was it, about 20 cents risk? And boom, there's 11.16, and the thing went all the way up over 13. So I did not take that trade, but we did have members make a bunch of money on it. So the reason it's in the video is there was money made on the idea, and the idea made sense, and the idea worked. Okay, what else do we have to show? Let's see here. Oh, JCI. JCI gapped way down. All right, it was interesting to me because it gapped down, but if you pan out, it had bounced nicely off this area. Remember, not exact price, but this area, it had bounced nicely off here, 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 all the way back here. It pierced down, but then a violent snapback. Okay, so this area on JCI is interesting. They usually buy it up here. Switching back to fives, it gapped down, rallied, comes down, takes out the low of the day. then comes back up near the high of the day, and then sellers came in. Okay, so I'll zoom in a little bit here. So my idea was if these sellers fail, in other words, if it gets up over this red candle, it probably pushes through the high of the day and has some of these shorts that shorted the low of the day, and anyone who shorted today are probably going to have stops and cover there. Okay, so the long idea over this red candle, 26.52, 26.25 stop, and it based for a little bit, and then right about here, boom, 26.52. It does get through the high of the day, and this doesn't look like much, but from 26.52, 5, 10, 15 minutes later, it's at 26.90. I mean, it's hard not to make money on a quick 40-cent move. It wasn't great, and it ended up rolling over at the end of the day, but when you're a day trader, that doesn't really matter. So that idea worked as well. Let's see, URI late in the day. URI, actually, we were all watching, so I love bottom feeding. You guys know that if you watch our videos, but I never got a call on this. Had my attention, but I never got a call on it. So then it bounces, and it's grinding right below that 20-period moving average, that red line. So when it looked about like this, nope, a little bit farther. Yeah, I mentioned that around 28.70, this could be a good buy because it never did go down and revisit the lows of the day. So in other words, the next move, is probably going to be up. Okay. In other words, sellers just couldn't get it back to the low of the day. So my idea was around 28.70, and I said probably a stop around 28.50. I ended up not taking this. I was I don't know. I was kind of hung up on the fact that I couldn't find a clear candlestick entry, but really you did have a little base break. You had a moving average break. Having said that, we did have members that are smarter than myself and took it. And from 28.70, this thing made it all the way almost to 30. So really nice on about 20 cents risk. Again, I put the idea out there, and members made money on it. Again, I did not. I'm not proud of it, but I did have a very nicely green day, so that doesn't matter either. That may have been it for the day. I had one losing trade today, and that was 2 cents a share, and that was on GameStop. You see, I drew a little trend line here going back a few days. I don't have it not visible, but over this trend line, my idea was 17.11. Thought it might, this has a high short position. Thought it might get going, and when it hit 17.15 and couldn't get going, I came down and sold it at about 17.09. I just basically said, you know what? It's been 5 or 10 minutes. It didn't go like I thought. Anyway, so that was it. Very nice day in the chat room. Again, one losing trade here for me and about 2 cents. So real nice green day. I did miss some nice opportunities. Even ones that I spotted, I managed to skillfully miss them. But long as I'm green, I'm thrilled. So let's leave it at that, and we'll put out another video tomorrow night from tomorrow's trades. All right, have a good night.